I'm here. You're all here. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, mamas. Nice to have you back. Good morning. All right. So I'm already seated. I'm already ready to go. I arrived a little bit early, so I'm ready. Feel free to join me as soon as you're ready by sitting up on a block or some support that makes you sit up a little bit taller, feel a little bit more supported, and just so you can come into a nice, comfortable seat on your mat. No, they don't. You don't need anything. You don't need anything. I always like to have a set of blocks. So of course, if you have a set of blocks, grab them, keep them within reach. But other than that, you don't need anything else. So you might notice that, as always, I have, not always, but often, I have some sort of visual representation of something that I'm referencing in our classes. So if this is the first time you're joining, you can revisit one of the older classes a few weeks back, where I use a balloon to sort of show the uterus, the diaphragm, the pelvic floor, the TVA, all the muscles that we really focus on to create the support and structure for these classes. And then last week I brought the pelvis because we really focused on the pelvis. And today I brought this little umbrella, little cocktail umbrella, and you might be very curious to what I'm going to explain about this. The beauty of this visual is as it shows the diaphragm in a very different way. If you think back to the balloon, in a sense that the diaphragm rests up here. And the diaphragm, without getting too technical, sort of encompasses the superficial core, the top of the superficial core. And then the pelvic floor supports the bottom of the superficial core. So if you look at this umbrella, as we focus on the diaphragmatic breath, which we always start with in this class, the diaphragm actually opens up, it flares open like an umbrella, and it moves down. And then as you exhale, the diaphragm moves sort of up and back and closes. So this visual of the diaphragm is the inhale, the diaphragm widens all directions, 360 degrees. And as you exhale, the diaphragm contracts and closes. So inhale and exhale, inhale and exhale. Now the beauty is it's the exact opposite with the pelvic floor. So we take this umbrella and we turn it upside down. So as you inhale, the pelvic floor widens, it lengthens, it creates space. And as you exhale, you draw the pelvic floor in and up. So the inhale and the exhale, the inhale and the exhale. And these two together house the superficial core. So that's what supports your baby when you're pregnant. That's what guides your baby out when it's time to give birth. And it's what supports and heals your body after you've delivered your baby. Okay, so you can keep this visual in mind as we continue to move through our practice this morning. And I thought over the last couple of weeks, as this is a new class here at Yogaground, I've been giving a lot of information, a lot of instruction regarding the breath, and it's so important. But I thought today we would flow a little bit more. So let's begin seated, just taking a moment to tune in. Your hands can be resting on your thighs or your knees or maybe on your belly. Your eyes can be opened or closed. I just want you to tune into the diaphragmatic breath. So really nice, soft, but expansive inhales up into the diaphragm, allowing it to open like that umbrella. And then just allow the exhale to be natural, that rebound, that recoil, no effort. Just a couple breaths here. Maybe you place one hand over your heart. Just take a moment to set an intention for yourself. And then place the other hand right on top. One more deep, full breath here into the palms of your hands. And then go ahead and release your hands down and start to drop your chin in towards your chest. Nice and easy here as you breathe down your spine, all the way down the back side of your body. A moment here to release any tension in the face, the jaw. Maybe even an exhale out through the mouth. And I want you to add gentle movement here, rocking your head from right to left, back and forth, side to side. And then eventually I want you to draw your right ear over the right shoulder and just pause for a moment, breathing a nice deep breath into the left side of your neck. Melt your left shoulder down. And then release chin to chest. Slowly drawing the left ear over the left shoulder. Now we breathe into the right side of the neck. The right shoulder presses down. And then slowly come back to center, chin to chest. And then you can lift your chin, maybe flutter open your eyes, lift your gaze, reach your arms up. And then as you exhale, float your arms back down by your sides. 2 more breaths. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, release the arms down. 1 more big breath in. And big breath out. Roll your shoulders up, back, down, and around 2, 3, 4 times. So nice big shoulder circles here. Just paying attention to tension, to stiffness, to where you might be a little bit sore. And then you can take your left hand back onto the left thigh, or maybe your left hand onto the belly. We're going to reach the right arm up and over. So a nice side body stretch here. In today's focus, we're really focusing on stability over flexibility. So stay rooted through the pelvis. Maybe use the left hand for a little bit more support. Gently reach, but try not to go too deep, too far. Take 1 more inhale. Maybe you look up. And then as you exhale, come back to center. Now we're going to take the left hand across, especially if you're pregnant, no pulling. So just a little bit of support as you spiral your gaze back, look over the right shoulder. And release. Come back to center, roll into those shoulders. Up, back, down, and around. All right, switching sides, taking the right hand onto the thigh or onto the belly. The left arm will come up and over. And just nice and easy here, breathing into the left side as you stretch. So think more about creating length. You're rooted through the sits bones, you're staying grounded, but you're lengthening up and over. Then maybe you find a little bit more space, a little bit more depth. The right fingers can root into the earth. But again, you're paying really close attention to not overstretch here. And take one more inhale. And then exhale, come back to center. Right hand comes across, very gentle seated twist, no pulling. So just a little bit of support, easing over the left shoulder. And then release it one more time here. Roll those shoulders up, back, down, and around. All right, making a transition to come onto hands and knees. So nice and easy here. Once you find your way to tabletop, your choice to have the toes curled in and under or press into the tops of your feet. Just a moment to adjust the hands and knees so that you feel stable and steady. A moment to pay attention to any hanging in the shoulders or hanging in the belly. So we start to lengthen through the low back. And as you lengthen through the low back, you can give baby a hug in and up, or gently wrap the corset, the TVA, from the back around to the front, navel in towards your spine. So we've got this stability, we've got the support to eventually, on your next inhale, start to reach back through the right leg. Press into the heel, maybe you rock back and forth a couple of times, maybe you circle the ankle. Press back into the heel and then float your right leg up and back. Same thing here, we stabilize and then you can circle the ankle, wiggle the toes, point and flex your foot. And then toes down, heel up. You can stay here or you can add your left arm. So you might notice as you pick your left arm up, you start to wobble, you start to tremble, you start to shake. Keep drawing in and up with the pelvic floor. Keep breathing deep into the diaphragm. Again, we're not lifting and arching, we're lengthening, gaze down. One more breath here. Now you can keep the leg up, but lower the left hand back down. Bend your knee. And then just a few little pulses leading with the heel. So pulsing straight up towards the ceiling. Again, checking back in with any tension in the face, clenching of the teeth, the jaw, dropping in the shoulders. Last 3, 2, 1, and then we're gonna circle the knee out and around. So here's where you have to pay close attention to that range of motion. We're not looking for full range of motion, just opening up through the hip joint. A couple of times here, nice big circles to lubricate the hip joint, get that synovial fluid flowing. And then we're gonna take the foot back up and you're gonna turn the hip open. Now again, you're not forcing the hip open, just to your external rotation. And then you're gonna cross the back ankle over the left. You're just gonna tap it and then lift it up again. Lower it down and lift it up. Down and up. The right glute is probably on fire. Keep hugging the left glute in. Lift the pelvic floor. Wrap the TVA. Press up and out of the shoulders. Last 2. Last 1. Lift the knee back up. Close the hip. And we're going to extend the right leg out to the right side. Your toes are going to point forward. You're going to root down through the outside edge of your foot. And on your next inhale, nice and easy, you're going to take your right arm up. And then again, you're just finding length as you reach up towards the ceiling. You're not coming all the way back, Breathing into the chest, the collarbone, look up. Maybe your pinky finger spirals forward. And then slowly release it. Right hand comes down. Then you're going to walk yourself back. You're going to bring your hands onto your hips. And then you're going to bring your hips forward over your left knee. A moment to find your stability. Place your right hand onto the right thigh. And then you're going to take the left arm up for a variation of gate. So again, you're reaching up, breathing into the left side of your body. Maybe you're looking down. One more big breath in. And release, come back to center. Now, very carefully, you're going to heel toe your right foot towards the top of your mat. So just take your time, heel toe, heel toe, heel toe, until you come into a lunge. Now we're going to open up the hips. And to do this, we're going to move the left foot towards the right. And as you move the left foot back behind you towards the right, the hips open on a diagonal. Because we don't want to be forcing the hip open here. Yeah, we're in lunge. We don't want to force and search for space here because that's going to really bring instability back into the pelvis. So when you're in your lunge, you've heel-toed your foot forward, you're just going to spin on the left knee and move your left foot towards the right. This opens the hips. And then you can place your right forearm onto the right thigh. And again, another variation of gate here, up and over with the left arm. Only look up if that feels okay on your neck. Otherwise, you can always look down. One more breath here. And then again, we slowly come up to release. Now pivot back so the left foot moves back in line. And then you can place your hands onto the earth. Adjust, make as much space as you need, especially if you've got a belly here. Maybe you're high on the fingers. You can always take your hands on a block or two. So, coming here in this low wide lunge, we're going to inhale, lengthen through the back of the neck, the crown of the head. And on your exhale, curl your back toes in and under. We lift, we wrap, we squeeze. Inhale, left knee comes down. Exhale, lift it up. Inhale, place it down. Exhale, lift it up. Really use the strength of the exhale, maybe that vocal S breath to squeeze. We've got two more. Inhale. Last one. Softly place the left knee down. And again, you can heel toe your right foot all the way back until you come into your tabletop pose. Again, adjust the hands, adjust the knees. And find your stability. Pressing up and out of the shoulders, lengthen through the low back. Then we'll move to the left side. So on an inhale, extend back through the heel. Press, rock it forward, rock it back, maybe a couple of circles here. And then lifting the left leg up and back. Gently squeeze the hips together. And you can circle the ankle, wiggle the toes, point and flex the foot. You can stay right here, building lots of strength. If you're feeling a little bit stronger, you want to challenge yourself. Right arm can reach forward. Maybe you find this really challenging. It is. Lengthen, reach, hold steady, hold still. And And then take your right arm down. Bend your knee. Lead with the heel. You pulse up towards the ceiling. So as we start to exhaust the glutes here and really strengthen the low back, it's easy to start to lose connection to those other parts of the body. So really press down through the hands. Keep lifting the pelvic floor. Wrap the TVA. Last 3, 2, 1. And then we're going to open up the hip. Circle into the hip joint. My hips always pop and click and make some noise. No range of motion here, no force. And then we open up through the hip. So just turn out your external rotation. And then we tap the left ankle back behind the right. And then you lift it up. And you lower it down. Lift it up. And lower it down. So now the left glute is really working. But the right is too, because it's supporting you. Root down through the hands, last few here. And release it. We extend the left leg out to the left side. Root down through the outside edge of your foot. And then start to walk your hands back towards your knee. Then the hands up onto the hips. And then very important here that the hips move forward over the knee. So you've got this nice steady foundation. Take a moment, place the left hand onto the thigh. Then you're going to start to reach your right arm up. Up, maybe slightly over. This should feel really nice. One more inhale. And then exhale, come back to center. Now heel toe your left foot to the top of your mat. And just take your time. And then once you're here in this lunge, you're going to open up through the hips. So your right foot's going to move to the left. And the hips come on a diagonal. And then you bring your left forearm onto the left thigh. And again, your right arm's going to come up and over. Really stretching out through the side of the waist, making lots of length. Should feel really good. And then slowly release it. And you can take your hands down. So pivoting back, coming into your low supported lunge. Again, maybe the hands onto blocks or books if you need that extra length in the arms. And from here, we take an inhale, lengthen through the crown of your head, and then exhale, curl your back toes in and under, lift, wrap, rise. Inhale down. Exhale up. Inhale down. Exhale up. Last 2 here. You get really strong. Press back through the heel. And last 1. And release it. Then heel toe your left foot back around. Meet me here in tabletop pose. Sway the hips. Circle the tailbone. Maybe a little cow cat if that feels nice. So free to flow here just for a moment. And rooting down through the hands, curl your toes in and under. We're going to come into downward facing dog. So especially for pregnant mamas, make sure your feet are hip distance apart, if not a little wider. You start to send your hips up and back, and maybe you keep the knees bent. Lengthen through your spine, start to paddle through your feet. Just another breath, maybe two. And then we start to walk the hands back towards the feet. Take your time. There is no hurry, no rush. Bring your hands up onto the shins. Pause. Hands onto the thighs and start to round and rise up. And then roll into your shoulders 2, 3, 4 times. Maybe lift and wiggle all 10 toes. And then big circle of your arms, reach them out and up. And then float them down. Bring your hands together in front of your heart. So quick glance down at your feet. They might be in the right position. You might need to widen them. You might need to turn your toes slightly out. A great moment to roll the back of your mat up underneath your heels for a little lift, especially if you're pregnant. So as you're at the back of the mat, you can just roll it up 2, maybe 3 rolls here, and give your heels a little elevation. So finding the position of your feet so that you feel stable, steady, and ready to squat. So we inhale as we come down. Exhale, lift pelvic floor, wrap TVA, hug baby in, or wrap that corset tighter. Inhale, come down. Maybe it's just halfway. Maybe it's all the way. Exhale, lift, wrap, rise. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Last 2. Last 1. And release. Lift your heels. Let the mat uncurl behind you. Come to the center of your mat. Now, if you're pregnant, you're going to have to play around with the stability of your feet. I want your feet to be pretty close together. They do not have to touch. You're going to bend your knees slightly. Hands can come back to heart. So we're going to access once again the hips and find that stability, that foundation, that strength. Hands stay at heart. You're going to keep your knees bent, or at least the left knee bent, and you're going to tap your right toes out to the side. And then exhale back in. Inhale out. Exhale in. Inhale. Exhale. 3 more. Squeeze. Last 2. Last 1. Now we step the right foot back. Step the right foot back, press into the heel, and then we step the foot forward on the exhale. Left knee stays bent. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Step it back and step it forward. Last one. Inhale. And exhale. Keep that left knee bent. Leg is on fire. Hugging those hips together. Right foot steps back behind the left. And then to center. Inhale. Exhale. In. and out. Last two. Last one. Straighten your legs, big breath in, mamas, reach. And float your arms down. Pause for a moment. Breathe into that left quadricep. Roll your shoulders. And as soon as you're ready, bend those knees. Hands at heart. It helps by pressing the hands palms together, maybe even taking the elbows a little bit wider. Here we go. Inhale, step out to the left. Exhale, back to center. Inhale and exhale. In, out. 3 more. Last 2. Last 1. Then we step the foot back and forward. Inhale and exhale. Keep that right knee bent. Keep hugging those hips and knees together every time you come back to center. In and out. Last one here, step it back and forward. Now we step the left foot to the right and center. To the right and center. Step it back. Touch. Last 2. And very last one. Bring those knees together. Inhale, rise up and reach. And float your arms down. Roll into those shoulders, lift and wiggle your toes, and we step all the way up to the top of the mat. Ooh. Last thing we're gonna do here is we're gonna step a big step back with the right foot. You're gonna turn the right toes to the long side of your mat. We're gonna come into warrior 2. So you're gonna bend your left knee, you're gonna extend your arms, maybe a little pulse up and down. So again, just warming up that hip, strengthening the legs, extending the arms. We're gonna add a little bit more movement here. You're gonna inhale, rise, both legs straighten, arms reach up. And then as you exhale, you lower down. Inhale up. And exhale down. 3 more. Reach. And press. Last 2. Last 1. Now pause here in warrior 2. Just like we did earlier in a variation of gate, left forearm's gonna come onto the left thigh. You're gonna reach your right arm up and over. Nice and easy here. Really listening to your body. Staying rooted through the legs. Staying connected to the pelvis. That stability, that support as you reach. And then slowly rise. Press into the left leg. Turn your left toes in. And then both heels in. Now you might need to do that one more time. Kind of depends on the length of your legs. When you're ready, bend your knees. Meet me in a goddess. So hands onto the thighs. Little wiggle side to side. And even though the legs are working, we're going to distract ourselves with a nice, yummy shoulder release. So I like to turn my hands in so the fingers are pointing in and down. Big breath in, shoulders up towards your ears. And then as you exhale, left shoulder forward, look over the right. Mamas with babies in your bellies, no twisting from the belly. Your navel stays pointing down. You're actually just twisting from the mid-upper back. Look over your right. And come back to center and switch. Shoulders up, Right shoulder forward, look over the left. And then come back to center. Nice and easy, roll to rise. And then you can heel toe your feet together. Once the feet have come together, step to the top of your mat. We'll just switch sides. You'll step a big step back with the left foot. Turn your left toes out towards the long side of your mat. Bend your right knee. And just sort of work your way into a warrior two. Moving a little bit more dynamically here. Inhale, reach your arms up, straighten your legs. Exhale, press your hands, palms down, bend your knee. Inhale up. And exhale down. 3 more, rise. And press. Last 2. And last 1. Holding here and placing the right forearm onto the the right thigh. Left arm comes up and over. Nice and easy here. Extended side angle, stretch. Really hugging those hips together. Using the glutes to support you. 1 more breath. And then slowly rise up. Press into the right leg to rise. Turn your right toes in. And then both heels in. Back to goddess. Take a moment. Moving a little bit more freely here into that shoulder release. Drop your left, look over the right. Back to center and switch. And switch. Come to center, roll to rise. Take your time. Heel toe your feet together. Turn to face the top of your mat. Make sure you've got lots of space in between your feet. And then one last time here, inhale, arms up. This time as you float your arms down, big bend to your knees. Hands can come on the insides of your feet. Take your time, step it back, 1 foot followed by the other, and we return to downward facing dog. Bending those knees as much as you need, paddle it out. Maybe you take your gaze right and left, side to side here. And then an inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Lift your heels, drop your knees. And once you return to tabletop, uncurl the toes, big toes together back behind. And we'll settle into a child's pose. So a nice passive but supported hip stretch. Take as long as you need to settle in. Sometimes it's nice to just stack your hands or make fists. Or again, if you do have a block, you can place a block underneath your forehead. Again, just making sure there's no tension in the face. Furrowed brow, clenched teeth, shoulders up by your ears. Try to soften and surrender and settle in here for just a couple more breaths. next inhale, use your hands. Slowly find your way up. Quick pass back through tabletop, and then move your heels to one side or the other to come and sit. Once you come and sit, come down on your side, use your hands, and then roll onto your back. So I need to situate myself on my mat. Make sure that you're supporting yourself as you come down. And once you come down, you roll onto your back. Especially if you are further along in your pregnancy, really take your time here. I know that this can be a difficult transition, and usually it just takes a couple of moments. So you can rock your pelvis up and down. Maybe you even lift the hips. And then eventually I want you to draw your knees out and around your belly and towards your chest. From here, you can rock side to side. So just a little rocking motion. Now, if it feels okay in your body, you can come into happy baby pose by catching the inside arches or the outside edges of your feet. And again, you can stay steady and still, or you can rock side to side. You can really use some arm strength here to pull. And then when you're ready, heels come in and down. Feet reconnect to the earth. And again, if you like to rock through the pelvis, if you like to lift the pelvis up and down. And then when you're ready, you're going to roll onto your left side. You're going to place maybe a pillow or blanket in between your knees. Maybe simply tucking your arm underneath your head and just coming into final rest. Of course, if you're still comfortable being on your back, no problem. You can take Shavasana there. Just really give yourself a couple of moments here, if not longer, to reclose the eyes, to bring your body and mind into a place of rest and relaxation so that you can continue to set the tone for the rest of your day. Whether you're lying on your back or on your side, or if you've slowly risen, take a moment to revisit your intention, that reason that you were here this morning, and see if that intention is something that you can carry with you throughout the rest of your day, the rest of the week, maybe even throughout the rest of this time here in quarantine. There's no better time than to really dive deep inside. So as much as I enjoy leading you through these practices from afar, I really look forward to meeting you all in person and guiding you through these classes face to face. Until then, take care of yourselves, take care of one another. Namaste.